Hello, on today's Daily News, legal history was made in Burgessville yesterday when David Manners became the first person ever to be arrested for singing. The inattractive man, a 65-year-old former telecoms technician from Burgessville, went one step too far when he surrendered over 50 startled people in Burgessville's indoor shopping centre. There's nothing like a bit of nice singing to get everyone in a happy mood, said Chief Inspector Mike Tune, the head of Burgessville's Hill Police Station. And this was nothing like a bit of nice singing. It was more like screeching and went on for more than half an hour. By the end, we had members of the public complaining of bleeding eardrums. We tried reasoning with Mr. Manners, but we had no choice but to lock him up while he was kicking and screaming like a big girl. And here we will interview one of the witnesses from the scene. Okay, hello. So what
Hi.
So what happened when you heard the singing of David Manners?
What happened? My ears were gushing with blood. There was people screaming and crying. Children were dying. Yeah.
What happened when he got arrested?
They didn't really say, but they just took him away.
Will you ever like singing again?
Singing? That wasn't singing! What'd you call it? There isn't even a name. Screeching. You could call it that. Wait, you can't even call it screeching. I don't know what it was.
Anything else you would like to say?
I hope he rots in soundproof jail. No one should have to hear that again. I'm telling you, I'm going to sue him. My ears were bleeding. I'm suing him!
Okay, and
Bye!
That was Leo, one of the witnesses from the scene. Okay. There was no suggestion that anything untoward was going on when David Manners arrived at Burgessville's indoor shopping centre yesterday morning, but things started to go worry when he refused to leave the pub at the front of the centre until he had tried a sample of every variety available. 1 hour later, and Mr. Manners was staggering around with a massive smile on his face. The shopping centre staff suspected they might be in for a bit of trouble when Mr. Manners burst into an ice cream stall and grabbed all the hundreds and thousands, shouting, "Stand back, or I'll sing." But nothing could be prepared for what the 65-year-old was going to do next. Bursting into the main area of the shopping centre, Mr. Manners threw out the staff and barricaded himself into the centre's main room. It was only then that his plan became clear. Switching on the microphone, he yelled, "Let Me Entertain You" by Robbie Williams, before proceeding to sing a medley of the Spice Girls' greatest hits. "It was awful," said Karen Roberts, a member of the public who found herself trapped between a speaker and a cheese stall. "People were panicking and I just couldn't get out. He sounded like a tormented drunken cat." An embarrassed Mr. Manners was eventually arrested after armed officers broke into the room. Mr. Manners has expressed no remorse for his crime and intends to plead not guilty to a charge of breaching the peace when he appears at the local court tomorrow. Minimum penalties for this offence, and due to the tone of his voice, could possibly be 10 years without parole. David Manners' wife, Mary Manners, will be interviewed right now. Hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm fine. Yes.
So how do you feel about your husband being sentenced?
Well, of course, I love him, and I will always love him, but I have had to live with this awful tone of voice for the whole of my life, and oh, it's just a relief that I won't have to hear it anymore. Oh, it's just a relief.
So were you glad that he was sentenced?
Not glad. Relieved. Relieved.
Anything else you would like to say?
Well, aren't you going to interview me? I thought you was going to interview me.
I just have.
Well, you young people these days don't know what an interview is. You don't know. No, don't take me away! Oh!
Sorry about that. She's having a bit of hard time from her husband leaving her, even though she was relieved. So thank you for listening to today's Daily News. Sorry about that. Goodbye.